movies always give survivors that one lucky break to escape, but I found 8 movie monsters so perfectly designed to kill that your cardio and even your actually attitude wouldn't save you. And the most lethal one is something you see every day. Before we get into it, if you think you can survive all these monsters, I want you to hit the like and subscribe button, because those are the only people that watch my videos and are gonna learn how to actually survive. But let's start with the mummy. Ancient Egyptians weren't just building pyramids. They created curses that even with your smartphone, modern weapons, and WebMD knowledge would still turn you into a juice box for a 3,000-year-old priest with serious relationship issues. Yes, we're talking about the mummy from 1999 and why you'd be absolutely screwed if you ever ram into Imhotep in real life. Like completely and utterly doomed. First off, this guy isn't just some guy wrapped in toilet paper shambling around with his arms out. That's the Halloween costume version, which is kind of scary too. The real Imhotep is basically a walking apocalypse with powers that would make the Avengers call in sick. Think about what this dude can do. He literally controls sand. You know, that stuff that covers about a third of Earth's land. So good luck trying to escape him in the desert, which is where you'd most likely encounter him anyway. Well, I would just drive away in my Jeep. Sure, until he turns the sand under your tires into quicksand or creates a massive face-shaped sandstorm that swallows your entire vehicle. And that's just his sand powers. This guy can also summon all 10 biblical plagues whenever he feels like it. Locusts? Check. Water turning to blood? Yep. Darkness covering the entire city? You bet. Flesh-eating scarab beetles that burrow under your skin and eat you from the inside out? Oh, absolutely. Those are his favorites. But wait, I can hear some of you saying, I would just shoot him. Well, first of all, calm down, you Americans. I know how you guys get with your pew-pews, but for the rest of the world, we don't do that. Second, bullets literally pass right through him. The guy takes shotgun blast to the chest and just regenerates instantly. Your cute little handgun isn't going to do anything except maybe make him laugh before he sucks all the moisture out of your body and turns you into human jerky. Yummy. What makes this even worse is that to actually beat him, you need a very specific knowledge that approximately 0% of the population has. You need to find the Book of Amun-Ra, not the Black Book of the Dead that started this whole mess, but specifically the Golden Book of Amun-Ra. And then you need to be able to read ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. How many of you can read ancient Egyptian? That's what I thought. And even the one person in the movie who could read it got it all wrong at first and almost died because of it. And let's say by some miracle you do find the book and somehow learn to read ancient Egyptian overnight. You still have to deal with his mummy minions, avoid getting sacrificed so he can resurrect his dead girlfriend, and navigate a crumbling ancient city that's literally designed to kill you with booby traps. The scariest part about the mummy is that initially he's not even at full power. When he first comes back, he's basically a walking corpse who needs to consume people to regenerate. So he's hunting you down, sucking the life out of anyone he can find, and getting stronger with each victim. By the time you figure out what's happening, he's already turned your friend group into dried out husks and is now basically a god who can control the elements. What I'm saying is Brendan Fraser should have gotten every acting award ever for making us believe a normal dude with a gun and some one-liners could take down a 3,000-year-old superpowered mummy. In reality, you'd be dead before you could say, hey, that bandaged guy looks familiar from somewhere. But if ancient mummies scare you, just wait and see what's hiding in your garage. Because our next monster proves that sometimes American manufacturing really was built to last. Forever. What do I mean by that? Well, that Tinder date you had last night might be toxic, but at least they won't regenerate after you set them on fire, hunt down your friends for talking bad about them, or literally crush anyone who makes you sad. Why would you set your date on fire? Well, we're talking about a certain 1958 Plymouth Fury with attachment issues. We're talking about Christine. Let's be real. We've all had that friend who got a new car and suddenly their personality changed. They started posting way too many pictures with it. They name it, they get mad when you eat chips in the passenger seat. But at least their Honda Civic isn't going to murder you for spilling your soda on a dashboard. Christine isn't just a haunted car. She's the ultimate toxic relationship on wheels. Think about it. She looks gorgeous on the outside, but inside she's pure evil with a serious jealousy problem. And unlike your ex who keyed your car, Christine is the car. She's a 4,000-pound metal monster that can repair herself no matter how badly she gets damaged. That's what makes Christine so terrifying. You can't outrun her. She's a car. Cars are literally designed to be be faster than humans. You think you're safe crossing through that narrow alley where cars can't go? Nope. Christine will find another route and be waiting for you on the other side. And here's the worst part of it. If you somehow manage to damage her, she just fixes herself. Smashed her windshield, it pops back into place. Set her on fire, the flames just burn away and she's good as new. Literally crushed her entire front end with a bulldozer, the metal just slowly pops back out like some kind of demonic popping toy. But what makes Christine extra scary is how she corrupts her owner. She doesn't just want to kill you, she wants to turn your friend against you first. In the movie, Arnie goes from being this nerdy nice guy to this greaser looking jerk who's obsessed with his car. Christine basically grooms him into becoming her murder accomplice. It's like if your friend's Peloton bike not only made them annoying about fitness, but also turned them into a serial killer. Now, some of you are thinking, I just never buy a haunted car in the first place. Oh sure, because they advertise that feature right on the window sticker, right next to the fuel economy ratings. Gets 20 miles per gallon on the highway, comes with power steering and a vengeful spirit that will murder your girlfriend. Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. The scariest thing about Christine is that cars are everywhere. We trust them every day. We sit inside them. We're completely vulnerable when we're driving. And there's nothing in the movie that explains why Christine is evil or how to spot another car just like her. For all you know, that used Toyota you just bought might start playing Bad to the Bone on the radio all by itself tonight while it's sitting in your garage, thinking about how much it hates your cat. Even at the end of the movie, after they've crushed Christine into a cube with a bulldozer, there's that final shot where a piece of the wreckage starts to move again. The message is clear. You can't actually destroy her. The evil inside her is permanent. Not even a car crusher can guarantee she won't be back. That doesn't keep you up at night, I don't know what will. Christine might give you car trouble, but at least if you're in the woods, you can probably outrun a vehicle by twisting and turning. Our next threat doesn't just follow you home, it follows your bloodline with the vengeance that makes your ex look reasonable. We all want revenge when we're wronged, but summoning a 10-foot demon that won't stop until everyone responsible is dead is like using a nuclear bomb to kill a spider. Effective, sure, but the collateral damage includes your soul and probably your life. Pumpkinhead is what happens when someone actually answers the question. Don't you wish that guy would just die? With, yes, and I know an old witch who can help with that. This is the monster that makes restraining orders look useless. Here's why Pumpkinhead is basically a supernatural hitman you can't escape from. First off, once you're marked for death, that's it. Game over. This thing doesn't just chase you, it has a supernatural GPS lock on your soul. You could run to another state, hide in a bunker, or book a flight to Antarctica. Doesn't matter. Pumpkinhead will find you because magic is tracking you, not footprints or smell or whatever normal monsters use. I can already hear some of you keyboard warriors typing, oh, well, actually, I just shoot it with my gun collection. Yeah, good luck with that. In this movie, people literally blast this thing with shotguns at point blank range, and it basically shrugs it off like you threw a wadded up paper towel at it. Your cute little 9mm might as well be a squirt gun. And unlike other movie monsters where you can find some random weakness like sunlight or running water or whatever, Pumpkinhead only has one weakness, and it's completely useless to you. See, the only way to stop Pumpkinhead is for the person who summoned it to die. That's right, the one person who absolutely doesn't want to die because they're the one who wanted revenge in the first place. So unless you can somehow figure out who summoned it, hint, it's not wearing a name tag that says, hi, I summoned a revenge demon, find them and then get rid of them, you're screwed. The most messed up part though, the person who summoned Pumpkinhead feels everything the monster does. They experience every kill through the demon's eyes. It's like the world's most disturbing live stream happening inside their head. So even if you did somehow track down who summoned it, they're probably already going insane from watching the revenge play out. Good luck reasoning with that person. Let's also talk about how this thing looks, because appearance matters when you're about to die. Pumpkinhead isn't some cute Halloween decoration. It looks how I did in the 3rd grade. Basically, it's a gangly skeletal nightmare with long arms, claws, and a face that not even my mother could love. When this thing comes for you, your last moments on Earth will be staring into a face that would make Freddy Krueger say, maybe tone it down a bit, buddy. And you can't even rely on the it's not after me specifically defense. Unlike some random slasher who might be distracted by other victims, Pumpkinhead has a hit list. If you're on it, you're getting special attention. It won't stop until it crosses your name off, even if that means tearing through your friends first. This thing is like the supernatural version of that one person at work who keeps emailing you per my last email until you respond. Jesus Christ, Susan, stop emailing me. I don't care if HR needs more shipments of my swag. I don't give a shit. I love how in horror movies people are always like, well, what does it want with me? With Pumpkinhead, that question has a very simple answer. It wants you specifically, dead specifically, right now specifically. No bargaining, no escaping, no last minute hero moment. Just a tall, skinny demon dragging you to your well-deserved doom, while someone somewhere experiences your death in 4K. Demons might be scary, but at least they're part of human mythology. Our next nightmare has been hiding in plain sight, and your government has an entire agency dedicated to making sure you never find out. Deep in the Norwegian forest lurks creatures from your childhood nightmares, except these trolls are the size of buildings, can smell if you're Christian, and turn to stone in sunlight, which sounds helpful until you realize you're hunting them at night in a forest. If you thought the government was hiding aliens at Area 51, Norwegian Trollhunter is here to tell you that they've been hiding something way scarier and way closer to home. Turns out those fairy tale trolls your parents read about, yeah, they're totally real, just way more terrifying, and your tax dollars are paying people to keep you from finding out. Let's talk about why you'd be absolutely toast if you ever ran into a real troll. First off, these aren't those cute little dolls with the crazy fucking rainbow hair. God, I hate those things. These monsters range from holy crap that's big to is that a mountain moving? The Jotnar troll in the movie is literally the size of a small skyscraper. Imagine looking up and seeing something that massive just walking through the trees. Your fight or flight response would short circuit and you just freeze like a crashed computer. The most messed up part about trolls is that they can literally smell Christian blood. I'm not making this up. It's like their superpower. So for all you Sunday school attendees out there, congratulations. You smell like a 5-course meal to these things. Not Christian? Don't get cocky. They'll still happily stomp you into a Norwegian pancake just for being in their territory. The trolls turn to stone in sunlight, I hear some of you saying. Well, aren't you just the walking Wikipedia? Yes, UV light is their weakness, but that only helps you if A, you survive until dawn, B, it's not a cloudy day, or C, you decide to be carrying industrial strength UV lights like the professional troll hunter in the movie. Let's be honest, the only UV light you own is probably that thing you use to check if your hotel sheets are clean. That's not exactly monster killing equipment. Speaking of the troll hunter, this guy Hans in the movie is the most underpaid government employee ever. Imagine your job is to hunt down creatures the size of houses with nothing but a jeep, some lights, and the world's worst insurance policy. And he's been doing it for decades. The movie makes it clear that the Norwegian government has an entire secret agency dedicated to covering up trolls. They plant bear carcasses to explain the damage, create fake news stories, and genuinely gaslight the entire population, just like my ex-wife Bertha did. Jesus Christ, Bertha, stop calling me. The scariest part, these things live in remote areas where cell service doesn't exist. Help is hours away, and the terrain itself might kill you before the troll does. Imagine trying to outrun something that can take 30-foot strides through a dense forest while you're slipping on mud and getting caught in branches. And don't forget the different types of trolls. Some have multiple heads, some live in caves, some in the mountains. It's like Mother Nature said, let's make humans feel really insignificant by creating monsters in all shapes and sizes. They've even got trolls that live under bridges, you know, just like in the stories, except these ones don't ask riddles. They just eat you like you're a Big Mac. The cherry on top, even if you survive and try to tell people, no one will believe you. The government will deny everything, probably audit your taxes for the next decade just out of spite, and that footage you captured, it's going to be mysteriously corrupted. Maybe next time you're hiking in Scandinavia and hear a strange rumbling, just turn around. It's not worth becoming another missing hiker statistic in a report that's already been prepared with a fake bear attack story. As terrible as giant trolls might be, at least they can't follow you inside your own body. Unlike our next horror, which turns your flesh into its playground like the world's worst Chuck E. Cheese. There's a parasite that doesn't just infect you, it twists your body into positions that would make yoga instructors scream, puppeteers your corpse, and can even animate your severed hand to give someone a literal 5 fingers of death. Let's talk about Splinter, the movie that makes paper cuts seem like a pleasant alternative. If you're the type who gets squeamish when you see a weird bug, you might want to cover your eyes for this one. Actually don't, because not seeing this coming is exactly how you'd end up dead. So what makes the Splinter parasite so nightmare-inducing? For starters, it infects you through just a tiny prick from one of its spiky black, well, splinters. That's kind of why it's named that. That's it. One little stab that you might not even notice, and suddenly you've got an unwanted roommate living in your bloodstream. No dramatic bite scene, no falling into a vat of toxic waste, just a splinter, and you're done. Think about how many times you've gotten a splinter and just ignored it for a while. That handrail you grabbed, that wooden bench you sat on, that's all it would take, and the infection spreads fast. We're not talking about a slow zombie transformation where you have time for tearful goodbyes and one last kiss to your lover of all time. 1 minute you're complaining about a splinter, the next minute your arm is bending backwards and trying to strangle you. The worst part about Splinter isn't even that it kills you. It's what happens after. This parasite doesn't just want your body dead. It wants to wear it like a puppet. It reanimates your corpse, twisting and contorting it into these horrible jerky movements that look like someone put your bones in a blender and then tried to reassemble them all wrong. But I've seen World War Z. I would just cut off the infected part, says the keyboard warrior who thinks they'd be the hero of any horror movie. Well, first of all, cutting off your own limb isn't exactly something most people can do without passing out from pain or blood loss. But even if you did, guess what? The severed parts still move and attack you. That's right, cut off an infected arm and now you've got a crawling arm coming at you while you're bleeding out. It's like the Thing from the Addams Family, but it's pissed off and it's taken meth. And here's the kicker. This parasite hunts by sensing body heat. So unless you're a reptile or you've mastered the art of lowering your body temperature on command, it knows exactly where you are at all times. So Mark Zuckerberg, if you're watching, that means you're safe. But if you're not Mark Zuckerberg, you're basically walking around with a neon sign saying, "Eat me," that basically only the monster can see. The characters in this movie only survive by figuring out exactly how the parasite works and using super specific knowledge about its weaknesses. They realize it hunts by heat, so they cover themselves in ice to mask their body temperature, and then they go into a freezer. But unless you happen to be trapped in a gas station with a walk-in freezer and a Harvard biologist boyfriend who can instantly figure out the exact nature of an unknown parasite, you're not making it. Let's be honest, most of us can't even figure out if we have a cold or allergies without WebMD telling us that we have a rare cancer that's never been heard of before. So you think you're going to correctly diagnose and counteract an aggressive unknown parasite while it's actively trying to turn your body into a pretzel? I don't think so, buddy. Now, if you're feeling itchy right now or suddenly concerned about that scrape that you got earlier today, good, you should be. Because unlike most movie monsters that at least have the decency to look threatening, this one starts as a speck that you can't even see properly. By the time you notice something's wrong, you're already practicing extreme yoga positions that you never signed up for. The Splinter parasite is horrifying because it's inside you, but our next monster is terrifying because it's specifically hunting you, and it's turned a place of education into the world's deadliest game of hide and seek. Being locked inside a museum after hours sounds like the start of a fun family movie until you realize you're being hunted by a creature that specifically needs to eat your hypothalamus. It knows every exhibit better than the tour guide, and it makes the T-Rex skeleton look like a puppy. The Relic is about what happens when museums get too ambitious with their interactive exhibits. Forget Night at the Museum. This is Night at the— oh my fucking god, what is that thing? Why is it trying to eat little Billy's brain? Run, little Billy, run, run! Let's talk about why you'd be absolutely toast if you were stuck in Chicago's Field Museum with the Kothoga monster. For starters, this thing isn't just some random animal. It's a chimera, a horrifying mix of reptile, insect, and probably the nightmares of whoever designed it. Imagine if someone put a lizard, a mantis, and a bodybuilder in a blender and then gave the result anger issues and then hyped it up on steroids. That's basically what this thing is. And what's on the menu? Well, your hypothalamus. What is that? Because I don't know what that is. Well, it's a specific part of your brain that it needs to survive. Not just any body part will do. This monster is a picky eater that specifically wants the tiny almond-sized part of your brain that regulates hormones. Well, I would just hide somewhere in the museum then. Oh, you stupid, stupid movie watcher you. The Kothoga knows the museum better than you know your own home. It uses the ventilation system maintenance tunnels and all those staff-only areas that you've always been curious about. This is its territory. You're just a Happy Meal waiting to be unwrapped. And the worst part, the museum is in lockdown, so all those fancy electronic security doors designed to keep bad guys out are now keeping you in with the monster. Imagine being trapped in a giant maze where the exits are locked, your cell phone doesn't work in the basement levels, and oh yeah, there's a monster that can smell your fear and wants to scoop out your brain like ice cream. What makes the Kothoga extra terrifying is its origin. It's not some ancient creature that's always existed. It's the result of a fungus from the Amazon that mutated an anthropologist. That's right, this was a human being before he decided to drink some tribal soup that really disagreed with him. The fungus completely rewrote his DNA, turning him to this nightmare creature that needs human hormones to keep its mutation going. And how do you kill it? Well, in the movie, they tried liquid nitrogen because they thought its reptilian DNA would make it vulnerable to code. Spoiler alert, that doesn't work. The only thing that finally stops it is a massive explosion and fire, which isn't exactly a practical solution unless you happen to carry on emergency dynamite in your fanny pack. Now let's talk about the chances of surviving this thing. The movie has armed police officers, security guards, and scientists with knowledge of the creature, and most of them end up dead. What do you have? That Swiss Army knife on your keychain and whatever you learned watching Jurassic Park? Well, good luck with that strategy, because you're gonna be like the guy who died from the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park, most likely. The most nightmarish aspect of the Kothoga is how it hunts. It doesn't just charge at you, it stalks you, watches you, waits for the perfect moment when you think you're safe. Then it strikes with incredible speed. One minute you're hiding behind a dinosaur exhibit thinking you're clever, the next minute you're experiencing what it feels like to be a juice box. Here's a little fun fact, you don't want to be a juice box. Have you seen the way a 5-year-old treats a juice box? It starts out looking like a big thick thing and then it's nothing. That's not pleasant. To top it all off, this fancy fundraising gala is happening at the museum. So you're trapped with a bunch of screaming people in formal wear who are all making terrible decisions. Who the fuck would donate to a fundraising gala? Like, what is wrong with boomers? Why do they just love giving their money to dumb things instead of like helping people that need it? I don't know. Nothing makes surviving a monster attack harder than being surrounded by panicking rich people who think their donation to the paleontology wing should exempt them from being eaten. The Kothoga might hunt in museums, but at least it stays on Earth, because our next threat comes from beyond our world, bringing alien rules we can't possibly understand until we're already being chased through the projects. Imagine aliens that hunt by smell, blend perfectly into urban darkness except for their glowing teeth, can climb buildings like Spider-Man, and have targeted you specifically because you accidentally killed their potential mates, and you thought your neighbor's dog was annoying. Attack the Block gives us aliens that make E.T. look like a cuddly therapy pet. These aren't your standard, take me to your leader types with fancy spaceships and laser guns. Nope, these are basically space wolves from hell that have one job: hunt down whoever messed with their dating life. And they're really good at their job. First, let's talk about what these things look like. They're covered in fur so black it practically absorbs all light around them. They're basically living black holes with teeth. Only part you can see in the dark are their glowing blue teeth, rows and rows of them. By the time you spot those chompers, it's already too late. You're about to become an alien's midnight snack. I live in a building with security doors. Cool story. These aliens can climb straight up the sides of apartment buildings like they're out for a casual stroll. Yeah, your 5th floor apartment might as well be ground level to them. They'll just cruise up the wall and crash through your window while you're in the middle of your Netflix binge. What makes these aliens extra deadly is their hunting method. They track you by smell. Specifically, they follow the scent of their dead female alien that you probably killed by accident because it looked weird and scared you. From that time you squished a spider and felt bad about it later, well, this is like that, except now the spider's entire family is hunting you down and they're the size of a bear. The worst part is you wouldn't even know why they're after you specifically. Imagine being hunted by monsters and having absolutely no idea that's because you've got alien girl perfume all over your jacket. Without that crucial piece of information, you just think the universe randomly selected you for an especially horrible death. At least in most horror movies, the victims know that they're being punished for doing it in a graveyard or something, or investigating a strange noise and being an idiot. Not here. And where are these aliens hunting you? Well, in a housing project, a concrete maze of corridors, stairwells, and elevators that frequently break down. Every shadow could hide one of these things, every dark corner is a potential death trap, and unlike the suburbs where you can just run through backyards to escape, you're boxed in by concrete and steel. Well, I would just call the police, you say, reaching for the phone. Good luck with that. The cops in this movie get absolutely wrecked when they show up. Plus, try explaining to a 911 operator that you're being hunted by an alien wolf because you killed their girlfriend. They're gonna send the psychiatric unit, not the SWAT unit. What I love about these aliens is how perfectly adapted they are to an urban environment. Cities are already dark, full of weird noises, and nobody pays attention to screams because we all just assume it's Billy having another crash out on the street on a Tuesday. These aliens could be hunting people for weeks before anyone even connects the dots. The kids in this movie only survive because they know every inch of their block, every shortcut, hiding spot, and escape route. They've grown up there. You dropping into that situation, you'd be lost after 2 turns, panicking in a hallway that all looks the same while blue teeth glow behind you. And the cherry on top, the only way they finally beat these aliens is with the most UK solution ever. They set them on fire using fireworks and a super soaker filled with gasoline. The only thing they're missing are the shivs and the knives. Unless you happen to have those exact items handy, when space wolves start chasing you, I'm afraid your story ends with teeth. While alien invaders are terrifying, at least they evolved naturally. Our final nightmare was intentionally created by scientists who apparently skipped the ethics and common sense classes in grad school. Some threats are so ridiculous, they loop back to terrifying. Like a genetic hybrid with a shark's head, octopus tentacles, the ability to walk on land, and apparently the budget of a high school science project, but still somehow more deadly than anything actually in the ocean. Look, I know what you're thinking. Sharktopus sounds like something you've come up up with during a game of Mad Libs while drunk. But stick with me here, because this B-movie masterpiece, and it is a masterpiece, I don't want any of you telling me otherwise, presents a creature so absurdly dangerous, it wraps back around to genuinely scary when you give it the time of day. Sharktopus is what happens when military scientists watch too much Discovery Channel and think, you know what would make a great weapon? If we combined the two most terrifying things in the ocean. It's half great white shark, half giant octopus, and 100% proof that scientists in movies never ask whether they should do something, just whether they could. Let's break down why you'd be absolutely Sharktopus, see what I did there, if you encountered this thing. First, it combines the worst parts of two apex predators. Do not even come at me and say an octopus is not an apex predator. They're scary. I'm scared of them. Anyways, you get the powerful jaws and speed of a shark with the grasping, multitasking abilities of an octopus. It's like if someone gave a great white 8 extra arms and the ability to hold a grudge. Why would you stay on land? Oh, you sweet, dumb, little naive person, you. Unlike regular sharks that flop around helplessly on the beach, Sharktopus can use its tentacles to drag itself onto land and chase you right up to the boardwalk. Imagine running from the ocean, thinking you're safe once you hit the sand, only to turn around and see this monstrosity slithering after you like an angry mop with teeth. The thing about Sharktopus that makes it extra lethal is its versatility. Regular sharks can only attack you from one direction, the bitey end, but Sharktopus has tentacles coming out of its back end, meaning it can attack from literally every angle at once. You're busy watching the jaws, meanwhile a tentacle is wrapping around your leg, other one's grabbing your arm, and a third is probably stealing your wallet just to be a dick. These aren't regular octopus tentacles either, because apparently regular tentacles weren't scary enough. They give Sharktopus spear-tipped tentacles. That's right, not just grabby, but stabby too. It's like someone looked at an octopus and thought this would be more efficient with built-in harpoons. Let's talk about how people die in this movie, because it's both ridiculous and terrifying. One person gets yanked off a bungee jump in mid-air, another gets snatched off a jet ski, someone else gets grabbed while parasailing. This thing doesn't discriminate. If you're enjoying any water sport within a mile of the ocean, Sharktopus sees you as a chicken McNugget combo at McDonald's. Why would you shoot it? You're thinking as if you personally own a high-powered rifle and carry it to the beach, which if you do, God, Americans, you guys are crazy, but why? But even if you did do that, Sharktopus was designed as a military weapon. It's got enhanced durability, intelligence, and aggression compared to natural animals. Your pea shooter might as well be throwing popcorn at it. The only way they finally kill it in the movie is by hacking into the control chip embedded in its brain. Are they even trying with B-movies? Like, it's got a control chip in its brain, an animal? Of course it does. So unless you're simultaneously a master hacker, skilled with harpoon guns, and happen to know exactly where the secret government chip is located in its own skull, you're not taking this thing down. Your strategy of poke it in the eye isn't gonna cut it here, Chief. I swear, so many B-movies just have the worst plots ever. This could have been a somewhat decent movie if they just didn't make it so dumb. But I don't know. I'm not a director. Maybe I'm the bad one. Maybe I suck at movies. Maybe I'm horrible. I don't know. What makes Sharktopus extra terrifying is that unlike most movie monsters that have a natural origin or ancient curse, this one was purposely created by humans. Some scientists with a lab coat and apparently no survival instinct looked at nature's most perfect killing machines and said, let's combine these and give the result anger issues. That person should never be allowed to touch a lab coat ever again. So there you have it. 8 movie monsters that would instantly kill you because you are not built different. But if you don't agree with me and you think you are built different, I invite you to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and then go in the comments and tell me exactly how you would beat all of these monsters, because you're not gonna do it, but hey, maybe you make a good case. If you like this video, you should definitely watch my other video talking about more horror movie monsters you definitely wouldn't survive, which is on screen right now.